Campbell Alch is going to be our student moderator. So Campbell is going to be asking these ladies questions all about romance and adventure and their writing process. So I'm going to turn this over to Campbell. And Campbell, I think I'm going to get you to maybe stand at this mic over here, unless you want to be up here.
Okay, so we have our first question, which is, why is a big romance always accompanied by drama?
Well, I think in real life, a good romance doesn't have drama, but in a book or a movie, that just makes it really fun. So I like to take my characters and give them as much drama as possible because it's more fun that way.
I was just going to say, I agree. Nobody wants to read a book where everybody's happy. We want the happily ever after, of course. But we don't want to read, okay, we went to school today and nothing ever happened and we just said, I love you, and we went on a great date. Like, that would be really boring after we got 100 pages in. So we need a little bit of drama to spice it up a little.
We need the drama for the conflict, I think. We have to feel like that ending is earned, right? If we just went straight to the happy ending, it would just not be that much fun. Plus, I like to torture my characters a little bit.
And it's realistic, right? I mean, I don't think I ever dated anybody in high school where I wasn't like, does he like me, does he not? I don't know, maybe. And I had to discuss it and dissect it with my friends a million times and try to figure it out. And then you go on a date and you dissect everything you did on the date, like, I think I did something weird, I tripped over my own feet, that was bad, he tried to hold my hand and it was sweaty, oh no, and it's that whole thing. So I think drama's inherent in romance and you can't get away from that. So ours is just magnified, right?
Yeah, I think putting our characters in the most awkward situations is also a lot of fun. So for the dream heist, I have the love interest. They meet. They've known each other vaguely a little bit, but they really meet for the first time in his dreams. And I think, how awkward could that be? It's the most awkward as possible. And I thought that was kind of a fun way for them to have their kind of meet cute in a way, in a really awkward situation.
So then our next question is, what is more fun to write or more challenging, the romance or the adventure?
You want to start on that end?
Sure. So all of my books are mostly straight romance. So I would say for me, the romance is a lot easier to write. I can't really think of anything adventurous that my characters do other than falling in love, which is really, like you said, it's awkward, it's scary, it's full of a lot of emotions, and so that's where I keep all of my focus.
Yeah, I'm kind of I have a lot of adventure in my stories, so heavy adventure, but I like the romance too. So my romance tends to be kind of more adventuresome, I suppose, in a lot of ways. The things that they go through are high adventure, and that is what bonds them together. So for me, adventure is probably the easiest part of it. But I like to kind of bring in that adventure side to the relationship as well.
And I'm probably the outlier of the group in that I write a lot of horror thriller, so honestly, the scary stuff and the really intense scenes are the ones I like the best. And it's because when I try to write romance, I have to do it where I revise it a bunch of times because my friends are like, why is he kind of creepy? And I'm like, I don't know, because I write creepy, so that's where my head goes all the time. So it's really hard for me to write a guy and make him very romantic and flirty because I have no game. I have no game. So I only know, apparently, how to murder people and scare people. So I have to work at the romance.
Is this working? I don't have a lot of adventure in mind either, other than, like Kayla said, the adventure of falling in love. And one of the things I actually admire about Christy is the way she writes adventure, because I feel like you do it so well. But yeah, I wasn't always this way for me. I think, as I started writing more and more romance and falling more and more in love with romance, it became a little bit easier, and I wouldn't even still call it easy. But it's just something I tend to gravitate to. But romance wasn't always that way for me. Actually, I used to be like Amy, and I had like no game.
So I need your secrets then.
Well, it's like practice, right? As with everything, it's practice. So I guess I probably could write adventure at some point if I practiced it.
Yes, I think you can.
Yeah.
We've done
Well,
some
we
stuff.
did
We've
do
done
a little
some
bit,
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Christy and I have done a little adventure.
A little
but-
secret.
Yeah, but I learned that all from you, and I think it's just a matter of like what you feel comfortable writing and what you practice, basically. So, yeah.
So I could write adventure all day, every day. And as much as I love romance, there's only like so many ways I can think of to have two characters kiss for the first time. Like I have written, his lips touched mine so many times. So writing the romance is so much harder for me. But I love romance, so I push through it, even though I'm constantly saying, I feel like I've written this same kiss 1,000 times. I need to like change it up. So. R.L. Stein. Fear Street, Goosebumps. I read every single one of those. And Anne Martin, The Babysitter's Club, which I think those are like really old books now, but I was obsessed. My English teacher in 5th grade had 250 of them, and I read every single one in her class that year. So, and there's like a little bit older Sarah Dessen, who is still one of my all-time favorite authors.
Okay, I'm going to piggyback on you, though, because I was literally just showing another author right before we had the book signing a picture of me. I was probably, this is so embarrassing, probably 10. I'm posing on the ground with my really sweet collection of R.L. Stein books. It was a major flex at the time. And so I am right there with you. R.L. Stein was where it was at.
He replied to one of my tweets one time, and it's one of my like top 5 life moments ever. That's awesome.
Growing up, of course, right now I'm very jealous of the YA selections that you all have. But I would say Anna Martin, Babysitter's Club, but also one of my favorite authors was Francine Pascal, who wrote Sweet Valley, the Sweet Valley High. Well, she wrote a bunch of Sweet Valley series. They even had like the middle grade ones. I read every single Francine Pascal book, all the way from like when they were in middle school, all the way through college. And I think it might have been like a little bit of foretelling, because I think I went through a period where I was in denial that I was a romance writer. But I always loved those books, and it might have been some foreshadowing going on there.
And I like those too, but there was these books, and I don't even know who wrote them. I think it was various authors, and they're really old, but they were called couples, and it was scandalous, right? So the stuff that happened in those books was very scandalous. But I tended to go, what do my parents not want me to read? And that's the thing I'm going to try to read. And so I read Stephen King starting at like age 12. I started with his short stories, and Dean Koontz, and I wanted to see if I could make myself stay up all night and be scared, I think was my goal. And I always was. I was like that kid with too much imagination. So I started reading adult books like really quickly, because back when I was younger, there weren't a lot of choices in young adult. But I also liked a book called The Witch of Blackbird Pond, which is an older book, but it was about the Salem witch trials, and I was obsessed with that book. And Lord of the Flies. I was inordinately obsessed with that book. I wrote a critical paper in English. I bugged my English teacher, and she's like, would you leave it alone already? We know you love the book. I'm like, no, but all the hidden meaning and I went on and on and on about that book. So I would probably have to say that one, because that teacher probably still has nightmares about me coming up trying to talk to her about that book all through like junior year of high school.
Wow. Yeah, that would not be me. I'm more of a fantasy girl, I suppose. I love Tolkien. I'm obsessed with his world building, his languages, his maps. I love maps. Like, raise your hand if you like maps in here. You map people? Okay, you are my people. I love maps. None of my books have maps in them, so that's a problem, I think. I need to figure out a way to fix that one. But, I just love that kind of adventure. And I also loved Little Women. Did you guys read that?
Oh,
Little
yeah,
Women?
yeah.
And I was obsessed with Jo and being able to be a writer, and I think that was kind of a part of my life, too.
Actually, my mom named me Amy because of Little Women.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where she got it. I was going to be Meg or Amy, so I ended up Amy. And I'm like, why not Jo? Because that would have fit better. What happened? Mom?
Yeah, it would have.
I know.
Amy's a good character, though.
It is. And C.S. Lewis, we forgot to mention.
Yes.
But like, I don't know if you guys read
Yes.
him, but I sat in my closet forever as a kid.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
please don't let there be a back to this
Yes,
closet.
like
I know it's
sneaking
not a
the-
wardrobe, but you know.
Wishing that,
Yes.
or
I
if you
wanted to
found
go
an
in there.
old, like a old,
Wardrobe.
wardrobe,
Mhm.
you kind of wish that.
No, and I lived in an 80s style house, so it was totally a closet with the bifold doors, but I was like, it's close enough.
Also, the was it Carolyn Keyes?
Yes, yes, yes.
The mystery
Yes.
series. What was
Nancy
what's it?
Drew.
Nancy Drew.
Yes,
Yeah, duh.
that's true. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
Nancy Drew too was a favorite. Yeah.
Yes, I liked her.
Okay. If you could choose the actors to play the love interest in your books, who would you pick?
Well, I've thought about this a lot. I would just putting it out there into the universe because my dream is to have a Hallmark movie one day. So I've definitely already thought long and hard about the actors that I would love to play my characters. There's an actress by the name of Alvina August. I don't know if anybody's heard of her, but I love her, and I would love for her to play one of my characters. And I know this is a long shot, but Michael B. Jordan. I would love to be, one of my love interests. And then there's another actor by the name of Kendrick Sampson. He's really gorgeous.
Wow. I'm impressed.
I think about this all the time. I actually have a whole list. Like, we could be here all day.
You can answer for me.
Yeah, you can answer for all of us. I feel like I don't even know who the young actors are anymore, and I feel like my head is either like in a book or I'm watching comfort movies that are like 20 years old. So I don't even know who's popular and who's young, because I don't think like Keanu Reeves would be really great for a high schooler. So
You know, they have CGI that can age him down.
there you go. All right, so Keanu Reeves.
So I've thought about this a lot too, because my book, which y'all probably know, The Last Wish of Sasha Cade, is becoming a TV show. So, thank you. So they start filming this summer, and at one point I had a call with my producer, and he had asked, like, just throw it out there. Do you have any ideas? And I was like, no. I think especially for the love interest, like you said, my characters are so unique to me in my head, I can't really put them on anybody else. So I almost hope they cast someone I've never seen before that I can just have as my character. But I did blurt out for a side character. One of the characters' moms, I said Angela Kinsey from The Office, if y'all know her. Because as I wrote the book, really the only actual person I thought of for one of the characters was her. And he nodded and like wrote it down. He was like, okay, I'll see what I can do. So I have no idea, but I'm really hoping when they announce the casting that I'm gonna have her. Yeah. And then some incredible teenage actor that I've never seen before to play my characters.
Gosh, this hard. You want to go?
Well, I'm kind of in the same boat with you as my Gilda series is going to be a TV series as well. So I don't know who they're going to end up casting you don't have a lot to say. So I don't know. I guess I just would be happy whoever they choose. I'm sure they'll choose someone who's amazing and do a great job.
Of course I go last because I only have one character that I know clearly who it is, and that's the book I'm working on now that is not out yet. And the girl who plays Wednesday on the show Wednesday is totally that girl. So she's my inspiration, but normally I am usually like, it's the quality of this person mixed with that person, mixed with this person. So I don't have like that set picture. I try, but usually it's not exactly right. It's because, they're in your head, it's true. So she's the closest. She's very clearly this character that I'm working on now.
Okay, and then I know some of you said that they are being made into a TV series, but if your book was made for the screen, would you rather it be a movie or a series, and why?
Is yours a TV series?
Mine's a TV series. Okay. I say TV series, and this was another talk I had with my producer when he first bought the rights. I feel like movies only last for a couple hours, then they're done. But a series, you really get to see your characters for hours and hours and hours. So that's why I pick it. Plus, I feel like, although a lot of movies come out on streaming services now, I feel like not many people go to the movie theaters, and I would rather as many people as possible see it. So I feel like if it's a TV show, they'd be more likely to watch it, and then go read my book.
Yes. Well, I think it also depends on what you write. Because for my Gilda series, it's a trilogy. So they want to do one season per book. And that makes a lot of sense. So for me, when I heard about it, I'm like, when I was talking to my producer as well, I was super excited they were going to make a whole series from it. And then, they were like, if this does well and they have more seasons, you can write more books. And I'm like, I will write more books. So I think that for me, in that series in particular, it works really well. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry. For the series. I'm going to mute.
I'm going to be an outlier. I think movie for me, but selfishly, it's because I love the movie theater. And even if, I'm one of the only ones in there, I like that whole big screen experience, the bucket of popcorn, the big loud noises. But also the stuff that I write is not hardly ever a series. It's usually like a one thing. And Flight 171, for example, is on a plane for 4 hours. It's not good for TV because it's short and it's fast. So I would love to see that on screen. I would love to see like Blumhouse do Flight 171. That's what I would like.
I'm with you. I would love to see my book, Courtside Crush, as a movie. It's a retelling. I like to say it's basketball, high school basketball meets Romeo and Juliet. And so it's a one-act, I guess it's more than one act, but it's a one story. There's not going to be a continuation. There's a start, there's an end. I don't really think that I can grow on that story. And I think that the excitement of two rival basketball teams over a basketball season would just be really fun for a sports movie.
Yeah, for sure.
I've already thought about this, and I'm very, very specific. I would like it to be made into a Hallmark movie, and you can ask my friends on the stage who know me very well. I talk about Hallmark probably like every other minute.
She has the socks people that say like Hallmark and the
And the blanket.
and the blanket.
And the mugs.
I have lots of Hallmark gear. I buy Hallmark gear every Christmas season. But yeah, I'm very, very specific.
It's gonna
on that.
happen.
Like I want it to be a Hallmark movie.
It's
Specifically.
going to happen.
Okay, number 12. What are you working on right now?
Who wants to go first?
I can. I haven't talked about this book in public at all. Normally I have a little spiel, so I'm probably going to ramble, but my book is going to be my first middle grade novel. It is about a girl whose dad is a canine handler for a German Shepherd explosive detection dog. And her dad dies and leaves everything he owns to her. So she is now the custodian of a German Shepherd who has a lot of energy and has PTSD, depression, because he watched his handler die. So she is going to do her best to rehabilitate the sad dog and take care of him, even though there is a bad guy trying to take the dog away from her, saying she can't handle it, she's irresponsible, she has no business with this dog. And it will kind of help her heal her grief from her losing her dad and take care of this dog as well. So that's my off-the-cuff pitch. It's going to be very sad, but very good. Oh, and absolutely nothing bad's going to happen to the dog, because some people have said, if you kill a dog, I will kill you. And I was like, don't worry, he's going to be fine.
I was worried about that.
Yeah, he's going to be fine.
It's going to be good.
I have several projects. I don't really like to work on multiple things, but I'm at a point right now where I kind of have to. I'm finishing revising a middle grade novel that I co-wrote with Christina. If only I could just finish that last chapter. So just one more chapter left. And I'm working on the second novella in my latest series, and I have like an IP project that I'm working on right now that is in revisions.
I am working on revisions for a book that's coming out in 2024, and that book is due in a month, so it's very much on my brain. But basically, it's about a girl who runs a scandalous gossip site, like an online posting, and it's called @ReputationKiller. And all the rich kids at her school, she outs every single horrible thing that they do. And she has had like a big scandal she just outed, and right after, she sees her own ghost, who's obviously been murdered, wearing a prom dress. Prom's in a week. So she's obviously going to die. She's got to figure out who's going to do it, and how to stop them before prom so she can survive.
That sounds so good.
Oh, thank you. Here's hoping I get those revisions done so it's so I
Here's
get it
hoping
done.
I get to see an early manuscript very soon. Yeah, I'm working on a book, a middle grade mystery adventure with Raquel, and it's super cute. It's super fun. We just have had so much fun writing it. And then I'm also working on, this is a problem actually, you're gonna find out soon in a minute, a book with Amy and Vivi Barnes. It's more of a contemporary fantasy novel with adventure and magic. And the biggest problem is I'm working on another book. I'm revising right now with my agent, and it's a magical rom-com with adventure about a girl who creates a magical app on her phone, but she doesn't know it. And it starts causing havoc, and it makes other people fall in love with her. And she doesn't understand what's happening, and it's chaos, and lots of fun ensues.
Okay, so I'm also working on a couple different projects. So one story that I'm working on is actually under a different name. I'm working with Love Inspired, so it's totally different than my young adult stuff. And so I'm in revisions for that right now. And then I recently, has anybody in this room ever heard of the Alafaya River Rendezvous? Okay, it's super random. It's a pre-1840s pioneer reenactment camp, and people spend like the whole week out there with no electricity, no phones, no TV. Like they only do things that they would have in those pioneer times. And so I'm walking around there with my kids. I have 3 children, and we're going and we're seeing all these people dressed up, and I'm seeing a lot of high schoolers who are dressed up in all of the pioneer clothing. They can't have buttons, they can't have zippers. It's crazy. And I was just like, oh my goodness, how fun would it be to fall in love in that environment? So I have been plotting out that story. And I think my favorite thing about this is I was talking to a young couple at my church. I had just met them, and we were talking about, what do you do, all of that stuff. And I was like, okay, so where did you guys meet? And they're like, oh, Alafaya River Rendezvous. And I was like, oh my goodness, let me tell you about my book that I want to write. So it was just one of those really fun moments, and I'm really excited, and I know that I'm going to have lots of inspiration, and if I have questions, I can go to them because it really happens.
I can't wait for that to come out. It's gonna be fun.
Well, believe it or not, ladies, we are out of time. Can you believe it? All of the drama and romance is coming to an end. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you all for being here. The next session starts in the auditorium in about 8 minutes, and it is the middle grade Renegades. So thank you so much. If you will be Trinity Prep Saints. On the way out.